Welcome to the fastest daf in town. Today on Masechtas Nedarim daf Nun Hey. We are going to begin at the very top of Nun Hey with Aleph by the Mishnah. Masnisan. Hanoider min hadagan. A person makes a neder literally from dagan, which is typically grain, but grain is something which is stacked in piles. Because of that, Asr b'pol hamitzri yavesh di Rameir. Rameir says that you're also going to be Asr in these Egyptian dry beans, and the reason why, as the Ran says, the kivan the midgan, since they are in smooth piles, shaisim imenu dagan, so Rameir the dagan mikri. That's also considered to be dagan because the process is the same way in the way it's made. Okay, v'chachamim omrim eno aiser el b'chameshes aminim. No, it's only going to answer the 5 minim, namely that of wheat, barley, oats, rye, and spelt, and that's it. Rameir Omer, again Rameir speaking, and he says the following: Hanoidim in a tavua, where a person makes a neder on tavua, eno aser el b'chameshes aminim. So everyone agrees that when it comes to saying the word tavua, that lashon is specific to the 5 grains. However, when he says dagan, if he says dagan, he's answering all things, even as he said pul hamitzri yavesh, not peros ha'ilan, not fruits from the tree, or v'yarak, or vegetables. Says the Gemara. So memram. So are you come to tell me the dagan called the midgan mashma, that you're telling me it gives the language of anything that's piled up? That's what it's referring to. So on this, Rashi says the Chesed B'Kra kol min de midgan mashma b'chayiv b'maiser, and therefore it's obligated in maiser min atayra v'afil mishar minim, even things above and beyond the 5 minim. So it's hard to understand. You're telling me that all these things other than the 5 grains can be chayiv in separating meiser. So on a minatayra, after all, the pasuk says Mesav Rav Yosef v'kivroitz hadavar Hebrew Bnei Yisrael. So the Bnei Yisrael decided to take upon themselves additional stringencies in the days of Chizkiyahu. Reishis dagan tirash v'yitzar. They gave dagan. So first it says dagan, which is grains, wine, oil, v'chol tvos sada, and then it says all the grain that's in the field, l'rav v'gomer. Navi amr dagan called the midgan mashma. If dagan is all inclusive of anything that's in piles, my kifreitz hadavar hirbu. What exactly does this mean? That they added on to something. So look at the Ran. Lo hoyus reason lo hafish trumas maisrus. So in the days of Chizkiah, they weren't so careful in separating Truma and Meiser. Amar Chizkiah, so Chizkiah stood up at Tikin, and he instituted Shiaviu Oisam Beis Hashem, Uksiv Kifrat Adavar Shinischazka V'Gaver Tekanta Shel Chizkiah, that they strengthened the takana of Chizkiah. So the question is, says the Ran, the Hakol de Midgan Havi Bachal Dagan. When you say anything which is dagan, that should fall in the category of the word dagan already. So why does it say tuos asada? The fact is, it must be the fact that it says tuos asada in the pasuk, and it says dagan is coming to tell you that tuos asada should not constitute as dagan. So Rabbi leisuye peros ilan v'yorak. It's coming to include fruits and vegetables. That even though those are certainly not dagan, says the Ran Shein Oisin Dagan Mehen, nonetheless, the din is that there was still a chumrah upon them, that they still separated these things as well. Fine. So let's continue. Rameir Omer Hanodim in Tavua v'chulu. Rav Yochanan Hakol Moedim. Everyone agrees, but Moedim in Tavua, which is what our Mishnah said, that if you made a neder against Tavua, Shein Asr El Mechamishes Aminim, that's only the 5 grains, as we said, wheat, barley, oats, rye, and spelt, and that's it. Not Pul HaMitzri Yavesh. Tani Mihachi. We also learned similar to this. Shavin but Moedim in Tavua, they agree, Shein Asr El Mehei Taminim. So for the Gemara Pshita, it's obvious. Tavua, when we say Tavua, that's referring to the 5 minim. It's not coming to, you think maybe it's including other things. That's not including all things. Also, Rav Yosef. So again, Rav Yosef, as he asked the question before, in the same pasuk, the kifrotz davar Hebrew b'nei Yisrael b'chulu. So the pasuk again clearly indicates that Tavua is, or Tavua Sasada is different than Dagan. So Marava Tavua Chud, Tavua Sada Chud. Rava says that Tavua is one thing, and Tavua Sasada is another thing. So he's just mentioning both of these items. Fine, look in the Ran. So, okay. So, Luchud. Bar Mar Shmuel Pakid Delitnun Toyasar Alfi Zuzi Larava. So, Bar Mar Shmuel Pakid, Rashi says, Siva but Savaso, he promised to give him to Rava a significant amount of Toyasar Alfi Zuzi O Rava, 13,000 zuzim of Rava, min alalta, from alalta, de nahar panya. Now alalta, we're going to say, is some type of income. So shalcha Rava committed Rav Yosef, alalta hechi mikaria. Exactly what is he referring to? It says, Rashi, egva oisamamoin. How's he collecting this money? What does it mean, alalta? Now Rav Yosef masnisanhi. That language is found in a masnisa. Now, when it comes to making a neder on tavua, you're only also on these 5 things. When it comes to tavua, that's mashma only the 5 things. Olalta kol milui mashma. Olalta, which is income, should be including a lot more than just the chameshes aminim. So Ahad Ruhu committed Rava, so he turned in front of Rava. Omar he said, Halu kamaboili delalta kol mili mashma. Certainly this was not a question. I certainly understand that olalta income is including everything, not just chamishas aminim. Hada hudi boili. However, this is what I was at. This was my question. Schar batim b'schar sfinos mai. The rent from houses or from boats, that if you rent out, you're a landlord for housing, boats, what's the din? Is that considered to be under the category of a lalta? Mi amrinan, do we say, kivan dipachton, since it ends up depreciating in value, level laltahi, it doesn't fall into the category of a lalta. Well, kivan delo yadia pachtaihu laltahi. Maybe because it's not recognizable, it depreciates. It's true, it depreciates over time, but you don't actually see it happening with your eyes in real moments. So therefore, maybe it still is under the category of olalta. Look in the Ran, olalta is loshen bia v'hachnosa v'shevach. It's referring to profit. So Amru Rabbanim made Rav Yosef Omar v'chima achadol tzarachlon. Since you don't need them, amai shalachlon. So why did you send to him? So Ikbid Rav Yosef, he got upset. So Shama Rabbi heard this. He also came into B'mal Yom Kippuri, and come on Erev Yom Kippur. Ashachei Washame, he saw a servant. Davi Komazik Kamei Kasa Dechamra, and he was preparing a cup of wine for him. Ramali Havli Demazigliana. Let me do it, because he he wanted to be able to make him feel better. So Yovle v'komazigihu. So he started preparing this cup for Rav Yosef. Kasa dechamer, this cup of wine. Kika shasi, when he was drinking it, Amar, Rav Yosef said, Hadein mizgad dami lemizgad Rava bered Rav Yosef bar Chama. This wine, Rav Yosef was a saginar, he was blind, so he didn't know that he was there. He said, but this wine reminds me of the taste of the wine, how he dilutes it and makes it in a specific way. Armalei hu nihu, it is me. So this is Rava speaking. Yeah, it's me. I am actually here. So Armalei lo taste of akarch, don't sit literally on your ankles, don't sit down. Adi Armalei pirusha dahadain milsa, until you explain to me the following shot. What does pasuk mean when it says umimidbar matana mimatana nachlayam nachlayam bebamois? So what is this mentioning of this pasuk of going from one place to the next, from the location of the wilderness to matana, Fine. So Amalei, he said, Kivan asa adam asatzmo kamidbar. Once you make yourself into a desert, shehu mufkar lakoil, that you are available to all people. First of all, it means that you want to learn from all people, but it also means that you are humbling yourself in front of all people. And that's what he did. He did this menial task of making wine for him. So Nachu, so if a person does that, Shehu Mufkal Kol, Torah nitnu lo b'matana. The Torah will be given to you as a gift. Because if you seek out knowledge from all people and you are humble in nature, you're going to be naturally gravitating to learn more information. Once it's given to you, nachal kale, then you will inherit the ways of Hashem. You go up to greatness. But if you elevate yourself, Hashem will put you down. A person will basically go all the way down to the ground. But if let's say a person is chayzer, if a person does tshuva, Hashem will accept it. As we continue to Nun Hamid Beis, Shenemar kol get yinase. Anyone in a low place, Hashem will elevate. So if you look at the Ran, why did he say lo taste of a karach? Lafi shehegis libo, since he was haughty, sholo mikrazeh kadei lo hashmol daito. He said it to try to humble him down. So he wanted him to digest these words that he should be able to accept them. Okay, let's see some questions. So what are the lashonos? Certainly tavua, but also hanoider min hamazoin. So the Ran says also a person says hanoider min hamazoin. Also, that will be, as we'll see maybe on the next stop, that's also true. Question 14, Mehem, study Hiboya, the Rabbi Imschar Batam Asinis Bachal Alalta. So what is the reason? So you can either say because it depreciates in value these houses and boats, so it's not considered to be Alalta, or do we say no, since it's not recognizable, so it is. And he says Vikivandalo Ifshita Inimamayna Yad Bal Hashtar Al Tachtaina Lo Gabi Mehem. Because it's not so clear, so therefore the person who owes the money cannot collect from them. However, when it comes to a neder, if you would use a lalta as a neder, so then everything is inclusive. So l'chumra, we're going to say you can't collect money, you cannot, the neder is chal on everything. However, when it comes to a person who wishes to collect, yad ala tachtaina, you have the lower hand, and therefore you're not able to collect these items because it's something which is basically we're unsure what the din is. Okay, fine. All right, let's see question TB1. Hanoider min hadagan o noider min hatfua b'ma neser. So let's see what I wrote. By tfua, everyone holds it's the chamishas minim. Also mazon I wrote. So that's Tivua Chamishas Minim Bad. Dagan, the answer is Kol Mini Rameir Kol Midi the Midgun. Chachamim Chamishas Minim Bad. This is what I wrote. By Dagan, it's a machlokas. In our Mishnah, if it also includes Pul Hamitzri Yavesh or not, and only the Chamishas Minim. So I got that one completely correct. Excellent. That's TB1. Hanoider min hadagan. So that's a machlokas, but tfua is l'divrei hakoil. Okay. There. Okay. Weiter. So the Gemara says as follows: Tanya, hanoider min hadagan. Person made a nether from dagan aser af bepol hamitzri yavesh. So this is the language of our Mishnah. So according to Rabbi, you're usher in this dry Egyptian bean. Af b'pol hamitzri yavesh. You're also also in that. Mutter balach. It's mutter when it comes to that which is moist. That's not something which is stacked. Mutter ba'oyrez, also with rice. Bechilka betirgis uvitisni. Also split wheat into 3 parts or to 4 parts. Tirs comes to word like try, right? Which is 3. Hanoider min peras. Person makes a neder from fruits. Hashana of the year, also b'chol peras hashana. So he's also with regard to all the fruits of the year. Umuter bigadayim uvetalayim uvacholov uvavetzim uvagozalis. So a person is mutter with these different animals, milk, eggs, and fledglings. V'im amr geduli shana olai asbakulan. If you say gedule shana, in which animals also get their nutrients from the ground, so then it also is asr. Says the Ran, mihu davka shlo asran ela zman. Only when it's only for a certain amount of time. Shu yachal amid boy. It's something which you can withstand. Avul olam loy havi nidra klal sheyashel kaimo. If, let's say, you said this neder forever, then it doesn't mean anything because it's impossible to not have all these things in your life. Nedarim peras haaretz, make neder from fruits of the ground, also b'chol peras haaretz. Umuter b'kimen b'pitrius. However, you're mutter to eat truffles and mushrooms because they do not get their nutrients from the ground, but rather from the air. V'im amr geduli karka lai asbekulan, even that. Or minhi el davershin gedolim in aretz, something that doesn't grow from the ground. Omer shakol and bidvaro. Betanya el melech vel zomis, on salt and salt water. El kamenu pitris, and on truffles and mushrooms. Omer shakol and bidvaroi. Omer abaya mirva ravu miara menak miavira yanki v'lo miara. It's true, they do grow from the ground, but they get their nutrients from the air, and therefore it doesn't say Ayvaha Katani Eldover Shein Gedulim in Aretz Tani Eldover Shein Yoinik min Aretz. Okay. This same lashon is in the Gemara in Brachos. So let's look at the top Ran. In halacha ba'ayin derava lo ifshita hilkach lo gavi mischar batim. This is actually the question that we saw before, which was Actually, question 14, right? So we see over here in the halacha, it's hilkach mischar batim mischar svinois diad bal ashtar al tachtaina aval gam nedarim nakdin and lochorma v'kulin b'chlal. Okay, so that's a fair sharan. And then the Ran says Tosefta hanoider min hatiroish, person who made a neder against tiroish, asr b'chol mini matika, is usher in anything which is sweet. But naturally you're allowed to have wine, which is interesting. Tirosh in the Torah is referring to wine. So it says, we say, we go after the way that people speak. Because that's how people used to speak. They used to call the word tirosh that we're referring to sweets as opposed to wine. Skipping a few lines. The Torah calls tirush wine. We speak in English, let's say. So if you say the word tirosh, so it's very interesting. If you speak Hebrew fluently and the word tirosh is used in Hebrew as sweets, so your mind was to aser sweets and not wine. However, people who don't really speak Hebrew, they know how to daven, but they don't fluently speak Hebrew. They speak English, some other language. So when they would say the word tirosh, their mindset is on what it says in the Torah, and therefore they're asering wine and not sweets. It's very interesting. Okay, let's see the next Mishnah. Person makes a neder from garments, which means wearing clothes. The din is that mutter basak Uria v'chamila. You're allowed to wear sackcloth, sheets, and curtains. That doesn't fall into the category of ksus. If a person says that wool, that oile, sounds like you're wearing it as a garment, is on me. So you're allowed to cover yourself with the shearings of wool, because that's not considered like wearing as a garment. For that same matter, hapishtan ola ola, if you use that same language of ola ola, pishtan. You can cover yourself up with the stalks of flax. It all depends on what's going on at the time. Let's say a person is carrying a heavy bundle, or he's carrying it and it's very difficult for him, he's sweating. It's something which is very difficult for him. So once he says that, we can see by the context of what's going on, he's probably not happy with wearing with schlepping it. That they're mutulas chasais. He could still wear it comfortably as a regular garment, but also but he's not allowed to actually wear it in like throwing it over his shoulders, like to carry it. Because if it's a burden for him to carry something, he makes a neder, he's probably like a neder, he says, I wish I wouldn't have to carry this. So it all depends on the context of what's going on. Gemara. Tanya, hanoidim in a ksus, person makes a neder on garments, mutter b'sak v'yure v'chamilo, which we said in the Mishnah. But since it's garments, these things fall into the category of garments. Therefore, it's usher bepunda, with a belt, besikia, with a wider belt, uvis kurtia, a leather shirt, uvi katavlia, some type of a hard garment, the anpilia, and shoes, ufalinya, and some form of a garter, umichnasayim, or pants, v'koiva, and a hat. So my iskurti, Amarabba Barbarchana Kituna Datsala. It's a garment which is made out of leather. Tanya Yaitzin Basak Aveh, he can go out with this thicker sack. Uvisa Gois Aveh, or this again sack which is very thick, even more thick than a yiriyah, than a sheet. Uvi he can go again with a sheet, of a chamila, as we said, with a curtain. He can throw this over so he doesn't get wet. But he cannot wear a teva. Says Rashi, Shal Yachav Teva al Rosho. He can't put like a box over his head. Yetzi demishavihu, demas v'yetze demasihavi. Well, this is referring to Shabbos because it's considered to be a masa. It's not levush. V'lo b'machselas, and not a mat. Mimnei geshomim haroyim yotzim b'sakim. Shepherds could go out this way. Sometimes we just speak in the language which is the common language. Rabbi Yehuda Aimer Hakol Afi Hanaider Hu Tanya Ketan. Rabbi Yehuda Hakol Afi Hanaider Hayolovush Semer. If you're wearing wool, the Haitzer, and it's very uncomfortable, it's tight on you, so you're upset that you're wearing this type of clothing. So you're obviously upset about the wearing of it. Which means you could still carry it. As our Mishnah said, if it's very hard to carry, so it's all depending on the context. Question TA30. Dinam ki geduli karka inyan nedarim inyan bracha. So inyan nedarim, we say it's ki geduli karka. Inyan bracha loy chashiv geduli karka. It's not considered to be like geduli karka de yanki mi avira, because it gets nutrients from the air, and therefore the bracha is shahakol. Adkan.